Welcome devs to this new video. Today I will show you how to set up different environments for a React Native app, and for that we will use this library called React Native Config with just a few extra steps on the iOS side and just a little extra step for the Android side. So we have here the repo. I will leave the URL on the description of the video, and we also have here just a React Native app from scratch with just the hello world screen and the console and the Metro console running. So let's start with it. Let's go to the documentation. Let's copy and paste the command for the installation, and we will do a pod install for the iOS side. So we will have to make a few extra steps for iOS using Xcode, and also just a little extra step for Android, which is simpler. So let's start with that one. Let's scroll down to here, extra step for Android. So we just copy and paste this command, and we will go to the file that indicates here, Android app build-gradle. So Command plus P on macOS or Control plus P on Windows. Build-gradle. So we have these two files. We have to open the first one, not just the build-gradle Android / build-gradle, but the Android / app / build-gradle. So let's open the file and let's go to the bottom of the file and paste that command. Save and close. That's all for the Android side. Next, let's open Xcode. Let's select our project. And once we have the Xcode app opened, let's go to our project, our target. So what we have to do here is to go to the product, scheme, and edit scheme. So I have here some schemes that I've been making just for testing, so I will remove them both. Let me go to manage schemes here, remove, delete, and remove this one. So we are like at the beginning, again, product, scheme, edit scheme. So we have just one scheme. This is how it will look. We will add one, sorry, not here, duplicate scheme, and we will just call it tutorial local. Okay, that's one of them, and we will make two because we want to test two different environments. So we will also duplicate scheme and call it tutorial production. Okay, so this is the second one. Both of them we will go to build, pre-actions, and here new run script action. We will choose our target, and we will paste this command that I will also leave in the description of this video. This command will indicate to the React Native config library which env file to use. Okay, so this is how it looks, the command. Like I said, I will leave it in the description of the video, and we have to make sure that for tutorial local we are setting .m.local. So that's it for the local environment. Let's go to the production one. Let me copy this production, build, pre-actions, and also let's add new run script action, select our target, and paste that command. But this time let's make sure that the environment file is the production one. Okay, so that's it. These are the extra steps for the iOS side, and now we can start creating our .m files and testing the result. But first of all, we have to also paste a few commands here, a few scripts to indicate to our app which environment we are running on. So let me just copy and paste the commands we will use, and I will explain it. So these are the commands we will use. Let me just remove this. Okay, and remove this last comment. Save. So we are missing here a few more. Yeah, this one, not exactly this, but I will edit it. So set local will be the command, the tool we will use here, and will be just mfile.end.local. The same here, but with production. So we copy this, paste, and production. So we will have two environments, local and production. This is what indicates to also the React Native config library, which environment, which env file we will use. And here we make use of that little shortcut that we have. So iOS local will run our app in the local environment. This is all okay, as normal. And this is the important part. We will indicate to the app to use the scheme we just created, which is called tutorial local. So this command is perfectly made. Now, iOS development won't be development, will be production. And here also set production to make use of this little shorthand we have here to indicate the env file that we will use in our app. Then also here the important part, we have to indicate the scheme we will use, and it's not development, it will be tutorial production. Pay attention to this because these two are the schemes we created here in the Xcode. We can take a look back to them, production, scheme, manage schemes, and here we have the schemes we created. So let's go back to the VS Code, and this is okay, all right? Then for the Android, the command is much, it's simpler. We just set the local env file and run the app. And also here we have to change this production and set production. All right. So let's now create, that's all for the package JSON. Let's now create the env files that we will use. For example, .env.local we set, and we also set .env.production. Okay, so let's create a variable here called environment, for example, called of course production, and here I don't know, API URL. This is useful. The API, let's call it production.example. So let's just copy and paste here and replace production with local. Okay, so we now have all set up to make use of our environment variables in our app. Let's do it. Let's go to the documentation to see how it's used. And we have to import config from React Native config and use the environment variables. See this? This is how we call the variables. So let's import config, and we can, for example, here console log, and we will say environment and config.environment. This calls the variable we created here. All right, and let's also, for example, copy a text here and make a call to the API URL. Let's print it in the screen of the phone, of the device. So config.API URL. Okay, let's save, and let's go back to the package JSON to see what is the command that we have to run. So let's first run, for example, the iOS local app. So here run iOS local. So let's wait till this process finishes, and we should see the environment here in the console. Right now it's undefined because we are just running the iOS command with no env file. So we should see here environment local. Let's wait, and we also see here the API URL in the screen. Okay, the app is launching, and there we are. So environment local. And if we go to the app, here we have the API URL. So let's switch environments. Let's now run the iOS production. You run iOS production, and let's wait again. It should also load here environment production and the API URL with the production phrase here. So let's wait again. And there we have again the environment production and the proper URL for the API. Okay, so we have successfully set up the environments for the iOS side. Let's now try the Android side, of course. Android local for the local environment. So run Android local. Okay, so the bundle of the app is building again for the Android side. So let's wait here. As we see, we should also hear now the local API URL this time. Okay, so here we are. Now we will also switch environments to just make sure that we successfully set up both environments also for the Android side. So let's run Android production. Okay, it's running again. Oh, there we can see environment production. So we can confirm that we successfully set up both environments for Android and iOS platforms. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was useful for you. And if it was the case, please leave a like. Any doubts or suggestions, leave them in the comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.